What's up guys, my name is Ryan Shirley and I spent the last 3 years exploring the beautiful continent of Europe, and I want to show you my favorite places. So here is my Europe top 10. Alright, so we're going to start this video off in the beautiful island of Zakynthos, Greece. I love this place so much that I've been back twice. Now to get there, you can either fly there direct from most European cities, or you can fly into Athens, Greece, and then take a short plane ride over. Zakynthos is notoriously famous for their shipwrecked beach. The story goes about in the 1980s, a cargo boat from Turkey was carrying illegal cigarettes and contraband, and the Greece Navy chased it into this cove and it ended up crashing, and then the sand over time built up around it, and it's made one of the most beautiful beaches in the world. So if you're in Zakynthos, you obviously need to go to this beach. What you can do is you can either take a little boat from the main town of Zakynthos, or you can go to a little port such as Porto Veromi. This is what I did, and pay about $20 and they'll take you to the beach. The boat ride there is absolutely phenomenal. You're gonna be mind blown when you see these cliffs. They are like over 1,000 feet high and they're just white rock, and I've never seen anything like it. So you get there on the beach. When I was there, it was fairly crowded, but it was just so mind-blowing. These cliff walls are just incredible. The water is so freaking blue. And then you can also climb up on the ship. Be careful, don't want to get tetanus with all that rust, but it's just a really cool experience. You can also get on top of the cliffs. You can just drive there. There's a little parking lot, and then you can hike around the area. Just be super careful. A lot of people fall off these ledges because they're being stupid, like me, taking pictures on the ledge or just not paying attention when they're doing a selfie. So be careful when you do that. Another awesome thing you can do in Greece is you can rent a boat. So when I went there my second time, Greece changed their laws, and if you're a US citizen, you couldn't get a car rental unless you had an international driver's license. So we couldn't rent a car, but we were able to rent a boat. So it cost us about $100, and we had it for 3 hours. So me and my buddy George, we'd never driven a boat before. We got this boat and we went out to this island called Marthonisi, and it was just absolutely gorgeous. The water is so blue and it's just so vibrant. We found a little beach where we were able to dock the boat, hang out for a bit. After we hung out around the island, we went around the coast. We found this really secluded cove with 1,000-foot walls, and we were able to just fly the drones around there. I sadly crashed my drone there, fell in the water, but we're able to jump around, swim in the water, and have a good time. Make sure you visit Zakynthos if you're going to Greece or Europe. I promise you won't regret it. In my opinion, it's the greatest island in Greece. Alright, so now we're going to head over to the mountains of northern Italy, to the Dolomites. Now to get there, you can fly into either Milan or Venice and make the 4-hour drive to the beautiful mountain range. One of my favorite places to go is the mountain called Seseda. It's just this jagged rock, and then it has these just like beautiful green grass, and you can just run around the whole area, explore and have a good time. Another one of my favorite places is Lago di Bre. It's one of the most famous lakes on social media. You can also jump in the lake if you're feeling it. It's just really beautiful. Another place that I definitely recommend is Tre Cime di Lavaredo. When I went there, I spent about 4 days there because there's so much to do. They have the infamous Tre Cime di Lavaredo rocks. It's one of the most famous rock formations in Europe. There's also a million hikes around the area that are just gonna blow your mind. Dolomites are one of my favorite places in the world. You have to go there. It is one of the coolest places ever. Alright, so after the Dolomites, we're gonna head over to Spain to visit one of my favorite islands, the island of Mallorca. What's awesome about Mallorca is it's so big of an island. There's so much to do. One of my favorite places is this place called Cala Varca. If you love cliff jumping and swimming, this is heaven. The water here is so blue and so clear. Like when you think of the Mediterranean, this is it. It is just absolutely mind-blowing. It is a cliff jumpers and swimmers paradise. There's so many places to jump and to swim around. I did one of my most crazy cliff jumps ever off this arch. It was about 60 feet and it was absolutely terrifying, but I sent it and I got some awesome footage of it. Obviously, if you're in cliff jumping, be smart, check the depth of the water, and make sure you know what you're doing. Another really awesome place to visit on the west side of the island to Sa Calobra. The road to Sa Calobra is one of the windiest and most famous roads in the world. It's been featured in a lot of car commercials. You'll come down and you come down to Sa Calobra, and it's just this beautiful cove with sailboats. I found a really cool rock and I was able to swim around there. Also got some beautiful drone shots, and it's a great place to watch the sunset. So after Mallorca, we're going to head over to the Arctic Circle in northern Norway. So to get here, you can fly into an airport such as Tromsø or Narvik. So I went here in September. I was able to visit one of the coolest soccer fields in the world. It's in a town called Henningsvær, and it's a soccer field on an island. And when I went there, I was surprised there was nobody there. Sadly, me and my friend George, we didn't have a soccer ball, so we just ran around, got some really cool drone shots, and had a good time. Another really beautiful place to go is Kavalika Beach. It is one of the prettiest beaches I've ever been. The water is blue like the Caribbean. It is as green as Hawaii. And then the surrounding mountains makes you feel like you're in Switzerland. I couldn't believe the colors. The sunset was absolutely astounding. Another really cool place is Rain. It's one of the coolest little towns surrounded by these beautiful sea mountains. It's a little fishing village and they have these beautiful red houses. So make sure you go there. If you go up north, you could head to the beautiful island of Senja to see one of the most unique rock formations in the world. If you go past September, you may get lucky and be able to see the northern lights. When I was there, I spent the night in Senja and I was able to see the Aurora Borealis. It was one of the most magical experiences of my life. I felt like a kid again. Northern Norway is worth the visit and I hope you can go there. Alright, so after Norway, we're going to head back down south to Austria to visit the beautiful Austrian Alps. You can fly into Vienna or you can fly into Salzburg, make the drive over. One of the pretty locations in Austria is the town of Hallstatt. It's famous for this just beautiful village on this beautiful lake surrounded by these massive mountains. You can also head over to the Grossglockner Pass. It's one of the highest roads in Europe and you'll be able to see the highest mountain in Austria. It's about 3,900 meters high. Freaking gorgeous. There's also a beautiful glacier. I think it's called Pastorius Glacier. It's in the Grossglockner National Park and it's just freaking beautiful. One thing I loved about Austria is they had so many beautiful churches and castles. I don't think I've seen more churches anywhere and they were just so scenic and so beautiful. So after Austria, we're going to head back to Greece to visit the magical town of Meteora. Now to get to Meteora, what I did is I flew into Athens and then I got a rental car and I did the 4-hour drive. What Meteora is famous for is their monasteries that are built upon these rocks. Like these monasteries are hundreds of years old. When you see them, you wonder how the heck people built them. You can go in them, I think it costs like €1 or €2 to go inside of them. Me and my brother, we woke up for sunrise. We got some really cool misty and cloudy conditions and we were able to get some beautiful shots of the area. It's just a really beautiful place. Definitely recommend visiting Meteora. Alright, so now we're gonna head over to Scotland to visit the Isle of Skye. You can fly into Edinburgh and then you get a car and drive about 5 hours and you get to the Isle of Skye. It is one of the greenest places I've ever been. Feels like you're on just a massive golf course because it's just this green grass. One of my favorite places in the Isle of Skye is the Old Manastor. It's one of the coolest rock formations I've ever seen. It's a short hike. It's honestly just a magical place. When I was there, there was like crows flying around and I felt like I was in a fairy tale. You can also visit the Corang, which is the beautiful little mountains. You can visit Meout Falls, which is this waterfall that falls off in the ocean. If you're a Harry Potter fan, you can also visit the Glenfinnan Viaduct, which is the train that's in the Harry Potter movies. That is just absolutely super cool. So after Scotland, we're gonna head to one of the most unique places on the planet, to Iceland. So to get to Iceland, you can fly into Reykjavik. Plane tickets are actually not too expensive to fly there, especially if you're flying out of Europe. Me and my brother flew in there in November and we only had 2 days there. So what we did is we got our rental car and we drove 2 hours south to visit the infamous Skogafos waterfall. It's one of the most famous waterfalls in Iceland. It's just absolutely breathtaking. And then we headed over to the Regisfjara beach. I like to call it Black Rock Beach because what it is just these beautiful black rocks. They have these rock sea stacks in the ocean and it really just adds to the epicness of a location. We were able to get some beautiful footage with the drone and try not to freeze our butts off. Definitely there's a whole lot more to explore in the country. I need to go back and explore more. Iceland is one of those places that you should definitely see at least once in your life. After Iceland, we're gonna head over to one of my favorite countries in the world. We're gonna head over to Viversaska. It's located in southern Switzerland near the border of Italy. And it has one of my favorite cliff jumping spots in the world. It's this bridge that's straight out of a fairy tale. It is just like so cool. It's about 30 feet high. I jumped off it a few times, did a few gainers. Super fun. It's some of the clearest river water you'll ever see in your life. Like it is so clear. I was able to jump in and I did some snorkeling. It was just a very rejuvenating experience. After Via we're going to head up north to the middle of Switzerland to visit the Jungfrau region. When you think of Switzerland, this is it. Massive mountains, beautiful Swiss houses, cows eating grass in the mountains. It is just absolutely scenic. Grindelwald is one of the towns in the Jungfrau region. It's famous for Mount Eiger. It is one of the biggest mountains I've ever seen. Just absolutely huge. Another beautiful place is Lauterbrunnen. It's a valley of over 75 waterfalls. It's where J.R.R. Tolkien got inspired for Lord of the Rings. It's seriously like the prettiest place I've ever been. There's also Wengen, which is a city that you can only walk there or take a train to because there's no cars. It has a beautiful view of the Lauterbrunnen Valley. And then there's Jungfraujoch, which is the top of Europe. And it is just absolutely beautiful. While Switzerland is very expensive, I think everyone deserves a chance to see the beautiful Swiss country. Anyways, that is it for my top 10 places in Europe. Hope you enjoyed it. It's Ryan, and we will see you later.